We start off with US Vice President J.D. Vance claiming that the magazine Atlantic has exaggerated a story about a US attack plan, even with transcript evidence. This follows the White House dismissing the magazine leak as a hoax, despite official confirmation. The Atlantic magazine published new messages from a Signal group chat featuring discussions among top US officials about plans to bomb Yemen. The magazine published the information today, asserting there is a significant public interest in disclosing these details. The article highlighted that Trump advisors used non-secure communication channels. The new messages from the chat published included exchanges between Pentagon Chief Pete Hegseth and top intelligence officials. The messages contained details about US bombings, drone launches and targeting information. Some even included descriptions of the weather conditions during the assault. Amid the growing controversy surrounding the leaked Signal chat involving Trump officials, Congressman Mike Waltz took full responsibility for the incident in a Fox News interview. His comments come just one day after Jeffrey Goldberg, editor-in-chief of The Atlantic, revealed that he was accidentally added to a private group chat on the messaging app. Goldberg's article in The Atlantic suggests that Waltz had mistakenly invited him, and the prominent journalists remain unnoticed in the chat as members of the president's cabinet discussed policy and coordinated military actions, a breach that critics argue jeopardized national security. In testimony before the Senate, US Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard and CIA Director John Ratcliffe both denied that any classified information was shared in the chat. Meanwhile, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, who was also involved in the exchange, faced scrutiny but did not testify. Democratic Congressman Mike Sherrill called the incident a dangerous mistake, emphasizing the risk it posed to lives during a news conference at the Capitol. Let's hear what Mickey Sherrill and Tulsi Gabbard had to say.
There was no classified material that was shared in that.
So then, if there was no classified material, share it with the committee. You can't have it both ways. These are important jobs. This is our national security.
Senator, I have the same answer. I have not participated in any Signal group chat or any other chat on another app that contains.
This put lives in danger. An investigation needs to take place. That is what we are calling for. And I think the House Armed Services Committee needs to hold hearings on this and get to the bottom of it so no more service members are put in danger.
Well, joining us to discuss these latest developments in the Signal chat leaks is Ross Feingold, analyst from Taipei in Taiwan. Ross, thank you as always for joining us. The Atlantic has now released full conversation, which has been denied by many members of the team. How can this situation move forward, given the contradiction that seems to be at play here?
Well, one interesting thing that's occurred is the officials testifying in front of the Senate that the messages were not classified information basically gives the Atlantic permission to go ahead and publish the additional screenshots that they have now published from the chat. So that's interesting how that worked out. But chances are, with a Republican majority in the House and in the Senate, that the administration, the Trump administration, and the principals involved in this incident, they're probably not going to face extensive investigations. There'll be Democrats, of course, who will continue to criticize this. But how long they can make an issue of this remains to be seen. Chances are that this issue relatively quickly.
Ross, I'm interested in what your thinking is with that. Do you think this is just a case of, and why do you think it will quickly, given the fact that there is such, not just Democrats, but also Republicans in relation to a potential investigation?
Without a doubt, this is hugely embarrassing for the people involved, and including whoever it was that actually added the journalist Jeffrey Goldberg. May have been National Security Advisor Michael Waltz. That sort of still remains to be seen. But again, with a Republican majority in the House and Senate, which is very deferential to President Trump, and as long as President Trump is standing behind the individuals involved, he's not, as of now, he's not calling for any of them to resign, or he hasn't fired them. So Republicans in the House and the Senate are going to be very deferential to President Trump, and if President Trump is okay with this and he's not looking to fire anyone, then the Republican majorities are going to move on. And there's really very little the Democrats can do about that except complain. And that's just the reality of being in the minority. And for now, the Democrats are in the minority in the House and in the Senate. There's very limited things that they can do.
Ross, if this does blow over and everybody stays in post, will there be a further ripple effect based on trust, not just of politicians, but also potentially people in the United States seeing this unfold and now knowing the extent of the messages that were included?
Well, I mean, it might cause the public to be a little bit more skeptical about the job performance of some of the individuals involved. Keeping in mind that they've only been in their jobs, so it's their job. But with this kind of scandal, then it might cause the public to be a little slower. The other issue to watch is other countries, other intelligence partners of the United States, whether that's Western Europe or here in the Asia Pacific region, countries like Japan and South Korea that regular information, they might be a little more information until the Trump administration, national security and defense officials demonstrate that the other countries will be kept close and will not be accidentally leaked.
Yeah, this discussion, I do what might happen moving forward. You've mentioned potential international over information. Do you think on of this impact? Of course, these messages strikes in Yemen that continued still go impact in any way the US military presence, potential future assaults?
Certainly will involve, including Secretary, but in moving to the United States cooperation, they know the United States combat terrorist threat from the angry or not, skeptical of the ability of the United States, a lot of countries in the to continue to the United States issues bearing.
Ross Feingold, as always, thank you for time. As on this Signal chat leak continues, we will be here to bring you all of the latest developments. We now move to the Middle East.